Well, Dork, the regular season's over.
It was a fun year. It was crazy. Craziest year I've ever seen as far as predicting goes, but it was a lot of fun as always.
Yeah, it
And
was.
the playoffs are here. We got a good 14 teams in there, and let's see where this goes.
Yep. As you can see, the Dork's wearing the mask. I went 10-6. He went 9-7. So I slipped by one game on you there, Dork.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it takes.
Probably shouldn't have gone with Atlanta was my thinking.
You've been on them all year.
But
We
I
talked
just
about
said,
it.
I'll be glad to see him go, and I'm glad to see them go. I suspect they're glad to see Arthur Smith go.
You know it.
I'm sure anyone who drafts Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, and Drake London next year will be glad he's still not there.
I can speak for as a Bijan owner this year.
As a 2-year owner of Kyle Pitts, yeah.
Yeah. Did you hear Kyle Pitts tore his MCL and his PCL last year, had surgery, and this is like the first anyone's heard of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just read that.
Wow. Okay, well, I look forward to. I mean, this guy is talented, and I look forward to watching him and all the other good young tight ends we got out there, and that's something we'll talk about later when we kind of review our fantasy season. But first, we want to talk a little about the fantasy playoffs.
Yep.
And dude, you are the. I'm going to take this off.
Oh yeah, you can take that off now, Dork. There you go.
You are the commissioner of our league, the Bottom Feeders. Congratulations, Corn Pop.
Yep. Corn Pop, congratulations.
Why don't you, and we have a fantasy draft, and why don't you just get into how we do it a little?
Okay, our playoff draft?
Our playoff draft, yeah.
Yeah. Here's the way it works. In our league, the winner is determined by cumulative total points over all 18 weeks. So at the end of that, we after the season's over, which was over on Monday morning, we draft in reverse order of finish. So if you're Corn Pop, you're drafting last. And if you're in last place, you're drafting first.
Mm-hmm.
Snake draft, we draft one starting roster, quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a flex, a kicker, and a D.
And a tight end.
And you roll with them throughout the playoffs. Once their team's eliminated, they're out, you're out.
$25 each, winner take all. It's usually 8 or 9 people in it. And if all your guys lose the first weekend, tough shit.
That's it.
And
this year, Seattle Bob's going to be playing.
Seattle Bob, Chicago Bob.
Chicago Bob. He lives in Seattle.
He lives in Chicago Bob from Seattle.
I can't wait for his report on the Bears once any news comes out on what they're doing with Fields, because no one seems to know for sure.
Reading the tea leaves, I think he'll be back. I think
I kind of get that feeling too, but
I think Poles wants a haul for the pick.
Right.
Anyways, with that in mind, we're gonna go through the players we would like we think about in our fantasy draft.
Right, and so like we usually, I think we might have 7, 8 people this year,
Mm-hmm.
and so we're only going to go so deep on these lists, right?
Right.
Okay. And of course, you want to have players that play in the most amount of games.
Right.
And so Baltimore and the 49ers having the bye means that they can only max out at 3 games.
Yeah.
Whereas the folks playing in the wild card this week, and if they advance, they have the potential to play in 4.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Yeah.
Okay, Dork, why don't you start this off with your ratings for QBs for the playoffs?
Well, the three dudes, players I would say, these are guys I would love to have as my quarterback, are the obvious ones. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Brock Purdy. I really...
How about Lamar?
Lamar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Josh Allen.
Josh Allen and Brock Purdy. Those are my 3
Okay.
dudes, I guess you'd call them.
No Dak?
I got Dak kind of on the next tier.
Okay.
He would be my next choice. I just think I don't see anyone beating San Francisco, and I think Buffalo is the only team that's going to threaten Baltimore.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
So
I'm being a 49ers fan, I'm confident, but I'm a little nervous
Mm-hmm.
because we've seen teams that get on a roll the last 4 or 5
Oh
weeks of
yeah,
the season. They roll into the playoffs hot,
yeah,
like the Rams, who've won 7 out of their last 8. A team like that can pick off a
yeah.
49ers
Oh
or
yeah,
the
they can, yeah.
Cowboys, or
And
I'm picking them to beat Detroit this weekend.
the Rams are hot. Green Bay's suddenly hot.
Yeah, they are.
There's just a lot out there. But who are your dude QBs?
Well, I've got the same ones. I would throw Dak in there.
Uh huh.
After that, it gets pretty sketchy because you're counting on those dudes playing minimum 2 games and
Yeah.
hopefully 3. But I guess out of the remaining ones, if I had a choice, I'd probably have to go Jared Goff, maybe.
I think I'd go Stafford next because I do think that's a high scoring game, Lions and Rams,
Right.
and it's a toss up I think,
Yeah, I could see Stafford as well.
and he could light it up for a couple games, and that's not bad.
Yep.
If we want to move on to the dorks, um, I got Mahomes.
I'm going to try not to draft Mahomes.
He hasn't been all that great in fantasy this year. I think in our league he was 14, QB 14.
Sounds about right.
And
which is the lowest he's ever been.
I, I'm not sure they're going to get out of this weekend.
Well, and they talk about the receivers are shitty and everything like that. Okay, I'll give you that. But Mahomes doesn't look the same.
He doesn't. I agree.
He looks distracted. In fact, I think the whole Taylor Swift thing is yeah, you called it, dude, a curse on Mahomes and the whole organization.
Okay. I'm not blaming Taylor.
I am.
Taylor's awesome.
Probably
this is her fault.
After 2 games, probably about 2 games after her and Kelsey got together, his play started going seriously downhill.
It did.
He's a shell of his former self.
But he's 34, and he can have a life. He can.
Yeah.
He can date Taylor.
Okay, so jet down to Brazil and then look like a fool the next game you played, like you didn't even practice. Okay, yeah, knock yourself out, Travis. And take Taylor Swift with you.
This is Taylor's fault. No, I think losing Eric Bieniemy hurt.
That hurt.
I think the fact that they cannot come up with a decent receiver hurt.
Yep.
And
the running game's average.
Yeah, they just, their weapons don't look good. Mahomes is having a down year, and it all adds up to
that defense was carrying him for a while, and it's starting to slide.
Yeah, they had some injuries too. But they're still there, and
yeah, they are.
No one would be surprised if they're still playing in the Super Bowl. So
I would be.
I'd be a little, but we'll see.
I don't think they can get past Baltimore, man.
I don't either.
Okay, let's see. I guess if I had to do a dart throw with upside, and let's say I was the last dude to pick a QB, I might take a shot on CJ.
CJ Stroud, okay. Yeah. I'm thinking I got the top 3, then Dak and Stafford.
How about your boy Flacco?
Then I would probably have Tua and Hurts as my next 2.
Okay.
Hurts because he might play 2 games and he might get a couple touchdowns in each game.
You know he could.
I mean, he could get some points for you. So.
What'd that dude have rushing this year? 17?
Something like that. He had a lot.
Outrageous.
That's their offense, yeah.
Okay. There's QBs for the playoffs in smaller leagues.
Okay, running backs. Who do you like?
Well, McCaffrey's number 1.
McCaffrey's way ahead. He's probably going to be the first pick in our draft.
Yeah, he will be. And
are you drafting second?
Second, Josh. I talked to Josh, and he's hoping to call in. He's coming by to drop his money off that he owes on Friday.
Okay.
But he lives in Prineville, so
okay.
he's probably just jet home or something and call in.
Okay.
So I got the second pick, which means McCaffrey will probably be gone, unless Josh doesn't draft, and then I get the first pick, and I'll take McCaffrey.
It'll take you about 2 seconds to call his name as it should.
You know it, but after that, it gets sketchy.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah, I think I'd go with Cook or Gus Edwards next, and maybe I don't know. Maybe A-Chain and Mostert, but Mostert's still questionable. It looks like.
Yeah, and I don't see Miami coming out of KC with a win.
I got that as a toss-up. I'm probably going to go with. I'm going to
I
go with Miami when
I'd
we do
rather
the
take
picks.
either both the Detroit boys or Kyron Williams.
Kyron Williams, Swift, I think might be a good
Don't
pick.
like Swift. He's been trending down,
Yeah, but
and
depends how.
Philly can't run the ball.
If you think they're gonna, play 2 games, I think he's a good pick.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to play 2 games.
Okay.
Let's see who else. Your boy Rashid White. Tampa Bay could play 2 games.
You could, yeah. And
In
that's
fact,
what
I
you
think
want.
Tampa Bay is going to beat Philly.
You want Pollard's a good one.
Yep.
That game's a toss-up. I think I had Tampa Bay down. We'll see when we get there.
Sure.
I forget. I wrote it all down this morning.
And I guess if you think KC's getting 2 games, Pacheco.
Yeah. It depends on how you feel about who's going to get more games.
Right, and let's say you're all in on one team to get to the Super Bowl. They don't even have to win it, and you're going to take a long shot. Hey, maybe go Jerome Ford,
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland,
Yeah.
or hell, Najee.
Aaron Jones with the
Yeah,
Packers.
Packers could get in 2 games.
I swear, any team that gets on a roll is going to be. I mean, this might be the year for it. I just don't see a team that might do it out there.
And I'm a little worried. Green Bay, young team, going into Dallas. Dallas is undefeated at home and averaging about 40 fucking points.
Yeah.
I could see them just carving up Green Bay.
Yeah, I could too. Anyways, I have both Jalen Warren and Najee as the biggest dorks on the list.
Okay.
They're going to be playing in weather. I say don't worry about weather.
Weather's good for running backs.
Well, they might. Yeah, that's true. But it's going to be windy. It's going to be ugly in Buffalo.
Windy's good for running backs.
Okay, snow isn't though, and it might snow.
Yeah, I'm not really worried. My worry about those guys is that they're going to be one and done.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about this game and them performing in the elements.
I just don't know how much they're going to score.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I hear you.
And that's a big part of our scoring.
True.
Okay, should we move on to wide receivers?
Yep.
Okay, this is where you got some guys that, some options that I like as opposed to the running backs.
Yeah, running back, like say after McCaffrey, it's a dart throw.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm talking Diggs, Debo, Ayuk, the Zay Flowers, OBJ. I think is a good pickup. They seem to take it easy with them and have them pointing towards the playoffs.
Sure.
CeeDee Lamb and Tyreek Hill, obviously the 2 biggest scorers in our league,
Obviously.
are good ones too. So there you go.
Yeah.
You also got the Sun God, Cooper Kupp, Puka.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's a lot of good options at wide receiver.
There.
Mike Evans, if you think he's going to play a couple of games.
Yeah. Let's say you think Houston's going to win that game. Nico Collins.
Nico, yeah.
That guy's on fire.
Yeah, he's looking good. And there's the 4th seed. They would go to Baltimore in their second game. Or Baltimore or Buffalo, it looks like.
Well, it depends on if a lower seed upsets. If a 5 or 6 seed or a 7 seed wins, then they don't go to Baltimore.
They go to Baltimore, and the Texans will go to Buffalo.
Go to the highest rated.
The second highest rated.
Which would probably be Dallas.
No, Dallas is in the NFC, dude.
Yeah.
Get it right.
It would probably be, who would it be then, Dork?
Who are you, Frank Gifford here?
Who would it be, Dork?
It would be the 2 seed, who is Buffalo, or the 3 seed, who is Kansas City.
Right.
So,
yeah.
we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah.
Dorks, I got Packer wide receivers, Chief wide receivers, Pittsburgh and Houston wide receivers, just as a preview of how I think Wild Card Weekend is going to go.
Okay. I'm kind of, if I had to say dorks, I'd have to say, with the weather conditions and everything, and the fact that they haven't been throwing as much lately, I'm talking about the Buffalo receivers.
Okay.
Um,
Him and Diggs seem to have connected again, though.
One game. Let's see who else here.
I saw him hugging on the field
Yeah,
after the game. Come on.
the Philly
They're BFFs now.
the Philly receivers.
Yeah.
I'd rather have the Tampa Bay receivers than the Philly receivers.
Brown's been hurt. Is he They say
Him and Devonta Smith have both been banged up.
it's kind of vague, the reporting I read. They said, well, he was there in the locker room high-fiving his teammates.
Yeah.
As if that said he's medically cleared to play.
Yeah.
If he's out there, he's a good one, though.
Yeah, but if he's banged up like he was last week, you can't trust him.
Mm-hmm.
So those cats are off my list.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's do. How about a dart throw that might surprise here? Let's see. Maybe Noah Brown, Houston.
Okay.
Maybe Devontae Johnson, your boy with Pittsburgh.
Okay.
If Pittsburgh can get past Buffalo, and I think that's a chance, even though they're 10-point underdogs.
I'm never going to doubt Pittsburgh on anything.
Me either. And I trust them more than I do Buffalo right now. But that's about it for me. Let's see here. I like your Beckham pick. Maybe Brandon Cooks.
Yeah,
He's coming on. He's had touchdowns, I think, 3 straight games.
Okay, and then, the guys like Rashad Bateman, is it Jennings on the 49ers? Jennings?
Yeah. I hate Bateman. He hasn't done anything.
Okay, but you want people who are playing.
Yeah.
And
you also want them to be guys that might do something for you.
Yeah, that's true. But if you got a choice between a guy you think is going to have 3 games,
right,
and a guy who's going to be one and done in bad weather,
I hear you.
I'm going to go with the 3-game guy.
Of course, we don't know what the weather's going to be like in Baltimore in the playoffs.
Nope.
Could be nasty.
We'll see.
Okay.
I'm sure there'll be plenty of people, making bets based on what the weather forecast is a week out. So.
Well, the pros, they're pretty pragmatic. They only give 1 point for bad weather.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe 2 points on the spread, but
yeah,
on the over under, and 1 point on the spread.
Well, I remember
that's not significant, but it's important.
I remember one week after I'd done my picks and everything, and listening to Ross Tucker and Steve Fezzik. And Fezzik,
your boy Steve.
He
I saw him. I was watching him this morning.
He was saying, I'm never gonna do the weather on Tuesday again, or something like that, because he was with everyone else when they were it was like a month ago.
And it wasn't that bad.
And then nothing developed.
I hear you.
So just be careful. Check it the
You
day
would have
before.
thought Steve would have learned that lesson 20 years ago.
I know.
He's a pro.
And these guys are pros too, and I just don't think the weather affects them that much.
I don't either.
Okay, let's go to tight ends.
You got it.
I got Kittle ahead of everyone. Not quite as big a gap as McCaffrey has.
Yeah, I've got Kittle too. And then after that, it gets kind of sketchy.
I got Kincaid and Likely. I got Jake Ferguson. Laporte would be with them if I knew he was going to play.
They said he was improving today.
Right.
But I don't. If it's 50-50, they'd be smart not to play him and hope to get through this game.
I think Njoku is a nice little.
I like that.
Late round bargain.
Flacco likes him.
Good. Yeah. And that's about it though.
No Kelsey.
I think Kansas City might be out this weekend.
I hope so.
I mean, he's probably one of the top 7, but it just, I don't know.
I hear you.
I'm not buying that team, and I've liked Miami all year, even though they've come up short against big teams.
Right.
But
I guess in deeper leagues you could maybe Freiermuth.
Yeah. Or guys like Goddard. Dawson Knox.
Yeah.
Because I think he's going to play
a
lot.
Yeah. I don't know about Goddard because I don't like Philly's chances, but
right.
Okay.
So you're going to be big on Cade Otton then, I imagine.
If I'm the last guy taking a tight end and Cade's out there, I'm going to grab him just for you, Dork.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Should we go to D's?
You got it. D's. That's on my next page here.
I got the same thing. The dudes are Buffalo, Baltimore, San Francisco, Dallas. Maybe Cleveland's the next tier, but
Right. Yeah. I've got the same group of folks. Uh, Buffalo D and San Francisco. Well, Buffalo, Dallas, San Francisco are like the top three in a lot of rankings.
mm-hmm.
All three of those have not been putting up good fantasy numbers.
Right, they haven't.
I'd rather have Baltimore, maybe even Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
So I might be waiting on a D, or I might be forced to wait on a D. But if I do, I'm gonna grab Baltimore. I'm gonna grab Cleveland, and I'm gonna grab maybe I don't know, the Rams.
Well, Cleveland. Would you rather have 2 real good weeks of Cleveland, or 3 so-so weeks of the Niners? You got to ask yourself.
Yeah. I'm thinking I'd rather have 2 weeks with Cleveland.
Okay, we'll see. I got Cleveland in the second tier, and I hope to get one of the top 4. That's about it.
Yeah, and you don't know in the playoffs. Like the Niners, their D hasn't been near as good as last year. They're not getting the turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
People are throwing on them like crazy. Dallas,
Dallas is vulnerable.
but their defense could be scary.
Their defense could be dominant. Yeah, they led our league in scoring.
Yeah, they did.
Even though a lot of it was based, you take away games against the Giants, and they maybe had 6 points.
I hear you. Kickers?
Let's do kickers.
I'll kick it off with my boy that was good to me all year, Brandon Aubrey.
Yeah.
Dallas. He'd be my number 1 kicker choice. Maybe Tucker second.
I'm just going Tucker, Moody, Bass. I'm sticking with the Buffalo, Baltimore, Niners train.
Damn good strategy.
I mean, if you're looking for a 1-week thing, a guy like Aubrey, or is it Badgley for the Lions now?
Yeah.
And who's the Rams guy? I got him, Maher.
Yeah, they just signed him this week.
And that might be the guys to look at. Who's, if you're doing daily fantasy 1-week thing.
Sure.
Obviously, you're not going to be looking at Tucker and Moody for daily fantasy because they don't play.
That's it. All right.
All righty. Should we go to our bets?
Our bets and our predictions for week super wild card.
Okay. Can you give me a dork alert first?
Oh God.
Oh God, here we go again. Dork alert.
Okay. I've been kind of digging around in just wild card weekend history.
Yeah, doing some dorky research.
First of all, thanks to the site sportsoddshistory.com.
Nice.
They check it out. You can sort things. Pretty cool stuff there.
Cool.
Anyways, I went back to 2002 because that was the year they started the current 8-division format.
Right.
And the playoff structure that went with it, where you have 4 top seeds, and then for a long time it was just the 5 and the 6 seed were wild cards. Now they've added 7th.
Right.
Anyways,
and they've also lowered the buys from 2 to 1 per conference.
Right. Yeah, it used to be the top 2. Now you got to get the top 1 to get a bye.
Yep.
And we're not sure if that's a benefit or not yet. Anyways,
I'm thinking it will be.
Underdogs in this time on Wild Card Weekend are 49-40.
I saw a similar stat today.
Road dogs.
And that surprised me.
Go ahead.
That surprised me because you would think favorites would
Mm-hmm.
be covering at a higher rate.
Oh yeah.
That's why I'm playing a lot of dogs, Dork, when we get to our bets.
Road teams, 50-39. That's a pretty solid winning percentage.
Yeah, it is.
Now, just real quick though, back in the 21 playoffs, not 2021, the favorites were 5-1. So, nothing is for sure. Okay, that's why they call it gambling.
Yeah.
And in lines that are 7 points or higher,
Mm-hmm.
the favorites are actually 14-10.
Okay.
So the favorites have done a little, and that's close enough to be random.
Sure.
But the favorites have done a little better when the line is higher, and not so much.
Which makes sense. The
when
line's
it's
higher
lower.
because they're the better team.
They're the much better team, and yeah. Okay, I just wanted to throw all that out there. Also,
Oh God, here we go again. Dork alert.
real quick, this is just straight up, not against the spread. Fourth seed is 24 and 18 against the fifth seed.
I saw that too.
The sixth seed is actually 23 and 19 against the 3 seed. And in the 3 years of 7 versus 2, the second seed is 6 and 0.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why if you're a 7 seed like Green Bay or something, it's going to be tough.
Yeah. But there's always going to be the first to make it.
Sure.
Okay. Do you want to get into our bets here, dude?
Let's do it. I won both of our side bets last week, by the way.
You did. You had a good week last week on DraftKings and against me.
Yeah. I need to pad my DK account.
You do. You absolutely do. Okay, are we ready? These are odds as of I want to say 10 this morning, maybe.
Yeah.
And if you have them later, correct me.
No, I think we're going to be pretty close. I know what they are.
Okay, I got first game, Cleveland -2.5 at Houston, over under 44.5. I'm going with Cleveland.
I'm taking Houston.
Okay.
$10.
Let's revisit this later.
The spread was how much?
2.5 is what I had
Yeah.
last I saw.
Cleveland favored by 2.5.
Yeah, Cleveland
Yeah,
favored.
you give
on
me
the road.
2.5. I'll take that.
Okay, let's go through the others and
Sure.
Let's revisit that.
You got it.
That may happen because we do got to have a bet. It's a thing every week.
Yeah, we do.
Until I go broke. And I like the under 44.5.
I like the under as well.
Okay, Miami +4.5 at Kansas City Saturday night in the cold. Over under is 44.
I hate this game.
I'm not wild about any of these games, but I do like Miami to at least cover, and I think they might win.
Okay, I'm going to have to take Kansas City. I don't know that they'll cover, but I think they'll win the game.
Okay.
I've actually bet this game,
Okay.
and I bet under 43.
You know, last year I remember Miami being kind of written off in the playoffs, and
Mhm.
they went to Buffalo and almost beat them,
Yeah, they did.
and that was without Tua.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about them not being ready. I'm not really worried about weather. I am a little worried about just Kansas City finally, hitting their stride.
Well, I'm more worried about the injuries on Miami.
Yeah, that too.
If Miami's 100%, Waddle, Tyreek Hill, no designation, I'd be all over Miami.
Mm-hmm.
But they're hurt everywhere.
Okay. And they can't keep a healthy set of defensive ends on the field.
Yeah, well, and Xavier Howard didn't play last week.
Yeah.
One of their better cornerbacks.
Yep.
They're hurting units.
They are. They really are. Yeah.
So I'm staying away from that game.
Okay. Okay. Next.
Other than the under, because
Anyways,
of
I like the under. in
cold
that
weather.
one, too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
so you have KC.
Yep.
And you had Houston. So we disagree on the first two.
Okay.
By Saturday, we'll know who's going to win the weekend. I think by the end of Saturday.
Yeah, we will.
Okay. Pittsburgh +10 at Buffalo.
I'm taking 10 in the points. Steelers in the points.
I think Buffalo's going to win. But I'm not passing on Pittsburgh in 10 points.
Me either.
And this one, I say worry about weather. If you look at the Buffalo forecast, it's rain, snow, and cold and wind. Through into next week. So that might be pretty safe. And sometimes their snow becomes lake effect snow and they get buried.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like the under. It's at 36 now. I guess it's already come down quite a bit.
Oh God, here we go again. Dork alert.
I got a dork alert on this game, Dork.
Go ahead.
Let's see. What was the stat? The Steelers are the number one slowest paced team in the NFL as far as running that clock.
Yeah.
Buffalo's third slowest. So this is going to be a game where there might only be 10 goddamn possessions.
There might be one drive by Buffalo and then one drive by Pittsburgh, and then they'll get ready for the second half.
Or there could be punting.
Yeah.
But I think there's going to be limited opportunities here I like Pittsburgh in the running game to control the clock, punch it in when they get down there, and cover the 10.
Go down, get a field goal, make the score 10-3, and game over.
That's it.
That's how I kind of see it, something like that.
So we agree on the Steelers and the points.
Yep. Next one, Dallas minus 7.5 at home against Green Bay, over under 50.5.
I want to take Green Bay so bad, but I got to take Dallas and the points.
I tend to agree.
I hate them. I would love to see Green Bay beat them, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't particularly care for either team.
I'm not betting that game. I'm not betting that. I'm staying away.
I just know Dallas has been very good at home, 8-0, and most of those, other than Seattle and Detroit, hung with them.
Yeah,
and that might be good for the Packers, who are at least on the level of those two teams.
True. You just hope that Dallas doesn't get too much home cooking from the officials.
We shall see. Okay, but we're both on Dallas. I like the over 50.5.
I do too.
Okay, Tampa Bay +3 at home against Philadelphia. I took Tampa. It sounds.
Me
like.
too.
Yeah, this was the one that really perplexed me, but because I don't like Tampa at all. I think they're very mediocre.
They are, but Philly's mediocre.
Philly is just on such a
downward spiral
to end the season.
They're collapsing.
They had a game against the Giants that they wanted to win. They went out to win, and they got their butts kicked. I mean, what?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on there.
Well, and I remember you kind of looked at me sideways last week when I said that Jacksonville was collapsing.
Mm-hmm.
The dude was right, and I'm right that Philly's collapsing.
Okay, I guess you can spot a collapse a mile away.
Well, you just have to watch the games, Dork.
I do,
okay.
But I remember watching the Packers look like shit against the Giants, and then after that go on a 3-week tear?
I hear you.
Or no, they damn near lost to Carolina after that.
Every team can have a bad week or two.
Every team has had bad weeks or two.
Yeah, they have.
Or this year.
Yep.
But anyways, that's what makes, the whole gambling thing kind of dicey, because maybe Philadelphia picks it up and has a good game. Who knows?
Who knows? Maybe they get on a roll and they're in the NFC Championship.
Mm-hmm.
They've got the talent, maybe, to do it. I don't know.
Okay, and the next one, Rams at Detroit. Rams getting 3.
I'm all over the Rams.
Yeah, I do like the Lions. I'm pulling for them.
I like them too.
It's just on a personal level. I got relatives who are Lions fans.
Sure.
And I think they're a good team.
They are.
But when I add it all up, you got Stafford coming in, you got the Rams on a roll.
Yep.
I just think the Rams are going to take them, and
I'm going to make a prediction in this game for fantasy purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Kyron Williams, 170 yards rushing, 2 TDs.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah, he's going to chew up that Detroit defense.
I'm more worried. They've been good against the run. I'd be more worried about the Rams passing.
They're slightly better this year than they were last year against the run, because they were like 32nd. But the last couple of weeks they've shown some cracks.
Mm-hmm. And that's one thing to consider too. But I just ended up going with the Rams.
Me too.
Maybe part of it was because of the success of underdogs and road teams.
Yep.
In wild card weekend over
Stafford's
in
going home to a place he played for over a decade. That's got to make him feel comfortable. He's still got friends in Detroit.
Yeah. I wonder, and I don't know if there's a thing with this, but first-time playoff teams like the Lions, or first time in, let's say, 5 years.
Sure.
I just wonder, and, this might apply to the Packers, too.
It will apply to the Packers.
Some of them have been there. They're so young.
Sure.
And I just wonder how that is going to affect the team. I guess having Goff helps. He's been there.
He's experienced, been in a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
First time in the playoffs in a while. You expect them to maybe play good, and everybody goes, they gave them a good fight, but you expect them to lose.
Yeah.
Houston, same thing.
Green Bay,
Houston.
Cleveland hasn't been there in a while.
Yeah, but I feel better about.
Flacco's won a Super Bowl. So
yeah. That's why it's such a fun playoff season.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unknowns and variables out there.
Okay. Yeah, I don't. I don't. You know what? I don't feel good about any of these bets. Last year, I really felt I had it dialed in, and I kind of was in the playoffs.
Right.
But this year, I remain lost. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Even the pros are a little confused.
Yeah.
I was watching my boy Gil Alexander on the numbers
I'm
game.
gonna have to check him out. He seems smart.
He's a pretty sharp dude, and he's got that what's his name, Danzig, professional gambler.
Right.
I think I forget his first name, but he Gil has him on like every Monday or Tuesday to look at the opening lines. And so he goes, Gil goes, so what do you think this week, first week of the playoffs? And he goes, about 24 hours ago, I was looking at it and I go, I don't really see much that I like here. I don't know how much I'm going to be betting this week. And then he says, then I started running the numbers, and I said, I love the underdogs,
Oh, okay.
most of them. And so he's all over them, and I jumped on him too. I let him do my
I got
research.
4 underdogs here.
Yeah, but I've already bet him. You want to hear my bets, Dork?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. As I mentioned, I bet the Miami KC game under 43. I got it at plus 103.
It's nice.
I got the Rams on the money line plus 150.
Okay, I like that.
I've got Tampa Bay on the money line versus Philly plus 124.
Okay.
I got $10 on the Steelers money line plus 400, baby.
I like that. You can get real rich betting on the Steelers.
And
over
I
the
don't have a
years.
lot of faith in Josh Allen and the Bills right now.
Mhm.
They aren't crushing people. And then I've got, I also threw money on the Steelers at minus 10 against the Bills.
Okay, or plus 10.
Yeah, plus 10.
If you got the Steelers minus 10, you better have some real damn good odds.
No, I'm glad you mentioned that, Dork. I forgot to put the plus on there. And then I went ahead and grabbed the Rams at plus 3 at minus 102 versus Detroit.
Okay.
Have you
All
bet
right.
anything yet?
I have not. No.
Okay.
I probably will, but I'm not sure what. I just really don't like anything.
Right.
And I just hope I got it right. We shall see.
Yeah, I think it could be a good underdog week.
Okay, so we agree on Rams, Tampa Bay, Dallas, Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Cleveland, Miami. That I got them. You got Houston and Kansas City.
Correct.
So
$10 each.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay,
On
so
the Saturday games.
So write this down, Dark.
Okay.
You're giving me 2.5 with Houston. Cleveland minus 2.5. And I'm laying 4.5 with KC versus Miami. So Miami plus 4.5.
It's $10 a game.
$10 a game.
Okay.
And hey, you've been watching fantasy football with the Dork and the Dude, and next year, we've had the guy who picks the worst each week has to wear the clown mask. Well, to say the least, Dork's been wearing that clown mask quite often. But next year, we're going to add an element to it, and that means whoever picks the best each week wears the clown mask, plus has to pay $10. How's that sound, Dork?
It sounds good.
Okay.
It should be. I'm going to go talk to my mentor. I said, oh, this says no thanks. No chance.
No chance of what?
Okay, of me wearing the clown mask a lot next year, apparently.
Okay, all right. Okay, that's a good way to look at it.
Okay.
I've got a couple of golf things, unless you got something else, Dork.
Got nothing.
Okay, it's the Sony Open. It's played on Oahu in the islands, course in Honolulu. And I got a couple long shots for you. I've already bet these guys. Oh, and by the way, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. I've got Lucas Glover at 50-1 to win outright. And then I've got Hideki Matsuyama 45-1 to win outright. So, You're
How'd
into.
your guys do last week?
Actually, I think I gave 3 picks out. Uh, all 3 of them did not win outright,
Mm-hmm.
but one of the 3 finished tied for 5th.
So you can bet that top 5?
You can bet top 5, top 10.
Okay.
Some sites, and then you can extend it out. You can bet top 20.
Oh, okay.
And then there's also bets to make the cut or not make the cut or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I usually bet just small amounts outright just to try to hit the biggie.
Okay.
But I think if I'm going to be playing golf, betting golf much in the off season, I probably should get a strategy where I start playing more for longer shots to finish top 10.
Okay. So, are we ready to cut out? I want to do one more thing though.
Go for it.
One team, a 5, 6, or 7 seed. Let's throw down $10. We each get a team. Only pays off if one of those teams makes the Super Bowl.
Okay. We're going to flip to see who gets picked first.
You got
A sawbuck.
anything you can hear? How about this? Should Dork pick first? Not now. So you pick first.
Okay. So it's what are the seeds?
5, 6, and 7.
And who are those that we're talking about?
That would be Philly,
Green
Bay, and the Rams
Right.
in the NFC, and Miami, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland in the AFC.
Okay. Oh, that's a tough one, man.
And again, this is $10 if they get to the Super Bowl. If both of them lose this weekend,
Oh, they have to get to the Super Bowl.
no bet. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I will take. I'll take the Rams.
Okay, I'll take Miami.
Okay, that works.
I thought that just might be a fun team.
Hell yeah.
And if they're both still alive, if they meet in the Super Bowl, it's the winner.
Yep.
And okay, $10 reach Super Bowl.
I like it.
Okay, you've been watching Fantasy Football with the Dork and the Dude. The playoffs are here. If you're getting weather like we are here in Bend, Oregon, be safe out there.
Yep.
And
It's not that bad weather out there.
it's not that bad, but it might get bad this weekend.
Yeah, it could.
So we'll y'all be safe out there, and we'll talk to you next week. Maybe we'll get in a little coaching news stuff and how that might affect fantasy.
Definitely.
Maybe we'll talk. We were going to talk this week about our good and bad from our own fantasy years, but should we do that next week?
Yeah, let's do that next week.
Okay.
We're just mistakes we made.
Yeah.
I've got like 5 major mistakes that torpedoed my team.
Mm-hmm.
And
Likewise.
yeah, and so we're going to just be running those by you with the idea that we hope we don't make the same ones next year.
Right.
Now, there's some mistakes I keep making every damn year.
Oh, me too.
And
Me too.
and one of the key ones is drafting a quarterback that is not a running quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
I've had Herbert. I've had these guys. I had Tua,
Mm-hmm. The classic
Stafford.
drop back pass.
Yeah, those guys, they can put up 300 yards and still 3 touchdowns and get
Mhm.
outscored by some running quarterback who only throws for 1.
Yeah, and you know who was leading scoring quarterback in our league?
Josh Allen.
And you know which team, where they finished, the team with Josh Allen?
Corn Pop.
First. Congrats, Corn Pop.
Congrats again, Corn Pop. Great job managing your team. We can't give you any credit for drafting the team because you auto-drafted because you were hanging
Maybe
out
we
in a
should
bar.
auto-draft next year.
You were hanging out in a bar in Christmas Valley, so we won't give you credit for that. But after you auto-drafted, you handled it pretty well. But actually, the computer drafted him a pretty damn good team.
Yeah, there was one guy the computer screwed, either Nick or Josh.
Yeah.
Anyways, enjoy the playoffs this weekend.
Yep. And we will see you next Wednesday. We'll be recapping Super Wild Card weekend, and we'll be giving our picks for the coming weekend. And before you know it, the Super Bowl is going to be here. And then after that, we're going to be talking draft and all kinds of stuff, right, Dark?
Draft, and you got it.
Okay.
Early sleeper lists, you name it.
That's it.
done some of the voodoo.
There we go. Okay, I'm cursing a team in the playoffs, Dork.
Who's that?
I'm going to curse the Dallas Cowboys. I hate them so much. So I talked to the voodoo posse, and it's coming down.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Full report next week.
Come on, Johnny Quest, witch doctor.